This is Sasha Banks, Elite 44. You can see her attire. It's from, oh my gosh, August 17th, 2015, when she took on Nikki Bella, the WWE Women's Diva Champion. And this is what she wore. So let me open this. It says height 5'5", signature move, bank statement, hometown is from Boston, Massachusetts. That's weird because Boston is the state. NXT career was her highlight. Not true. Her highlight was when she won the WWE Women's Championship on Raw last week. So great botch, Mattel. You should have known that she was going to win it. Okay, let's open this. For me, one of the highlights of Sasha Banks is her attires. She always comes out with really colorful, really unique attires. So I'm really glad that after the flop of the basic Sasha Banks, which was basically just black, Mattel finally gave us a Sasha Banks with a lot of color, a lot of vibrant color. Would this be the one I'd choose? Orange and white, a creamsicle-esque color? I don't know. It's not bad. I love orange. It's one of my favorite colors, but I don't pick favorites. But yo, this is Sasha Banks. I'm gonna point out right away a major flaw I noticed. Her legit boss hand things, they're super prone to fall out and they're super small. And because of that, they're super easy to get lost. So be very careful when you open it up. She comes with a lot of accessories, a lot of small accessories. She comes with those two hand things, she comes with the necklace, she comes with glasses, and she comes with a jacket, which I will show you later. Let's take this off and we'll talk about likeness. Oh God. About a week or so before Comic-Con, a picture of this release leaked, and it showed a face that a lot of people were really frustrated with. And Mattel came out and said, yo, that's not the face that's actually going to be released. Unfortunately, a lot of the pre-release images are difficult to find on the web, so I can't really compare it, but I don't really think this is that successful as a Sasha Banks face. It looks like an attractive female, don't get me wrong, but when you see this, do you instantly think of that? No. Not at all. If you say yes, I don't know what you're talking about, because it's not that. The lips are too thin. Her eyebrows are way too big and bulky. Her eye makeup is gone. It's just not a face of Sasha Banks. This looks like someone that's going to a wizard world to cosplay as Sasha Banks and meet her, not actually Sasha Banks. But the attire is good. It's basically a re-release of the basic, just with a lot more detail, and the detailing is really nice. Unfortunately though, this is a Mattel release in the WWE line, so there are quality control issues. Right away on her breast see some paint lift off and scratches, and also this is the dirtiest leg I have ever seen. It's chewed up and there are literal stains on this leg. I don't know how that got through quality control. And also I'm having super difficulty getting her necklace off, which is a bummer because I'd like to take it off, but it feels like every time I get close to taking it off, it feels like it's just gonna break off. Now here's a comparison to the basic Sasha Banks that I pretty much ripped apart and said I hated. But you know what? I think the face, the sculpt wise of the face on the original is actually closer to Sasha Banks than the new release. It surprised me. I think though her face is a bit too thin on the original, kind of like how Rosa Mendez, they accidentally squished her head somehow in that release. I feel like they repeated that same process. And here she is wearing her jacket. You know, the thing is, it's a beautiful sculpt, but I feel like if they added just a little bit of paint to those dots, it would really elevate it, because here's the picture of it from the box right behind her. You can see that the studs are individually painted. And it doesn't seem like Mattel really took the time. It seems like they started to, and then they kind of quit halfway through painting them and didn't do a second coat. So it's weird. I don't know why they even started to paint it. And then second of all, because it is made out of plastic, it's too bulky on the sleeves, so it looks kind of big. And furthermore, it looks like she's wearing a trash bag. It's unfortunate for such a fashionista. And lastly, it's upsetting because she can't have the hand jewelry like her entrance. So it's a bummer all around. So even though it's a really great sculpt, you're not going to really be able to create her entrance. But for me, I think the jacket is one of the best parts about this figure. And what's interesting to note about this basic is that she has the exact same hands as the Elite that came to hold the jewelry. So they already knew. They were already planning. Now, why didn't the basic just come with those tiny pieces of plastic? I don't know. Because now forever this basic is stuck with those weird hands. Is it because they knew that this one is slightly superior even though the attire is weaker? So for some laughs, I threw the jacket on the basic Sasha Banks, which I originally thought was a terrible figure, but seeing it with this coat on, I actually think it's quite great. You know, Sasha Banks is one of those wrestlers that I feel is going to suffer from the AJ Lee figure treatment. We keep getting figure releases of her, and we're not going to get a good one that actually looks like her until she leaves the WWE. But I hope Sasha Banks doesn't leave the WWE soon, and I hope Mattel can actually give us a good figure of her. This Sasha Banks figure. This is one of those where, like, I feel like everyone anticipated that I would be super harsh with it, and that people are going to come into this being like, oh, he was harsh. But I feel like I'm being harsh for reasons I didn't expect. You know, I expected to come into this and complain about the articulation, how we're getting yet another WWE woman who's in the Elite line with no Elite articulation. Because the thing about Elites is the difference between them and basics is the articulation, plus the little accessories, and the difference between Elite and defining moments is the surplus of accessories. And I feel like nowadays, for some reason, Mattel are just breaking all that down and just trying to make us pay more money and get less stuff, because defining moments are becoming Elites, and Elites are slowly becoming basics, maybe, as we see with this Sasha Banks. So let's be honest for a second. The Miss Elizabeth Elite was a diva woman, and she had extra articulation. Elite female articulation, but for some reason Sasha Banks, no. The Paige Elite, when they showed prototypes, they showed that they are working on bonus articulation for Elites, but they took it out. I don't know why. And I feel like Sasha Banks would have been the perfect opportunity to establish, hey, we're actually going to start doing some cool stuff with this line other than just give you wrestlers you haven't got before. We're actually going to start making the figures themselves better, but they didn't. And you know, what blew my mind today was I remembered the Kelly Elite, which looked way better than this Sasha Banks. They actually got her body mold actually, in a sense, way more correct than this one. AJ Lee's body is not Sasha Banks' body. More reason why this looks like a cosplayer than actually Sasha Banks. If they sculpted her body, great. If they actually added bonus articulation, actual Elite articulation, it would be a miracle. But this, no. I ain't playing with this figure. Yes, the paint is great, but is it not, like, but how is this different than any other basic we have? You know, we get Sin Cara's with crazy detail. We got Rey Mysterio's with crazy detail. Ryback's, you know, looking, you know, right here we got this Ryback, which has this crazy detail. And it's confusing. Why this was an Elite, especially because the face, it just really is not successful, and this is, I think, to date, the worst quality control I've had with a figure. Yes, I've had breakage and stuff, but to actually get a figure with a disgusting looking stain on the leg, and I know some people might say just clean it off, but yo, what the hell is that stuff? It's like a coffee stain. Is it paint? Is it chemicals? I don't know, but one thing for sure, if I get cancer and die from doing this review because of whatever chemical was on that leg, I just want you guys to know that I don't really recommend this figure. And it hurts me to say that because Sasha Banks is such a great wrestler, such an influential woman. But to get such a lackluster release, it's shocking. She's the boss. And this figure is basically the intern. Cut.